Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. My name's Levi McCurdy, and this is episode 189. Listen, my voice sounds this way due to a tragic helium balloon incident back in the year 2003. Okay, listen, it's a long story. I don't have time to tell you about it just now, but what I do need to tell you is that it is imperatively important that because my voice does sound this way, for you to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for notification, okay? You need to know when you're getting these episodes. You know what I mean? So at this point in time, I need you all to do those three things. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and if you've already done those things, thumbs up for you. You get a gold star on the star chart. And hey, who knows? Maybe once you've gained enough stars, you get a super secret prize.
What are we doing?
So keep doing it and you never know. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? So if you don't like and subscribe, you'll pretty much have bad luck for the next 14 years. So you got to make sure you do that just now. And to start off, I hate to start off this way. I really do. I hate to start off the podcast this way. I'll tell you why. Because it brings out grumpy. It brings out the grumpy side of me, and I don't like it. And so here's what I need you guys to do. I need all of you, all 14 of you currently listening, whoever maybe inevitably will come across this podcast, in the comments down below, I need you all to come together and for once in your life, just come together and unanimously decide on one or the other. Am I hilarious or is it the exact opposite?
What are we doing?
Because this bipolar roller coaster we've been riding on these last, 3 or 4 years, okay? It's getting a little, I can't mentally deal with it anymore. So I need you all to decide down in the comments once and for all. Is Zaddy funny or am I not really all that funny? Okay, because we're getting them. We're getting both ends of the stick here. I've got this guy here going, bro, you're hilarious.
What are we doing?
And in the same breath, not just that of 24 hours later, I've got this other guy here saying, God damn, you're unfunny, dude. You give off weird tweaker vibes. So it's about every other day here at the What Are We Doing Studios. I'm either contemplating jumping off the roof and permanently breaking my neck and spinal cord, and or starting my stand-up comedy career by launching a nationwide tour without ever having done 20 minutes of stand-up before in my life.
What are we doing?
So let's all gather in the comments below and we'll vote. Am I the most hilarious human being on this planet? Or is the other guy right and I'm so unidentifiably unfunny?
What are we doing?
I don't know if the word unidentifiably is a word or if I used it correctly in that statement, but it sounded good at the time. And so what I'm hoping is we can all come together and we can decide. Because if it's, you know what I mean? If the guy's right and I'm actually hilarious, we're going, baby. City to city, every state, we're stopping at least 50 comedy clubs across the country. I'm bringing friends with me. They'll do 15 minutes each. Then I'll go do my rough, thrown together, but also equally hilarious 30-minute set. And you've got a show.
What are we doing?
We do 30 minutes of comedy and then 30 minutes of like a live podcast Q&A audience interaction style thing, like JoJo Siwa style. If JoJo Siwa was allowed to take a break or do some silly goose game with the audience during her show, well then I'm allowed to do the same thing and be lazy during my tour. So let me know in the comments below who's accurate here, because I've got people in my analytics saying, you're unfunny, dude, end quote. And I've also got people saying, bro, you're hilarious.
What are we doing?
And I can't, the back and forth. The one day I'm telling Megs, holy shit, Megs, I'm the most hilarious person on the planet. And then she goes, okay, honey, that's nice. And then I say, Megs, we have a contradiction because today, according to this guy, I'm extremely unfunny. And I quote, you flail your hands around like you're trying to lift off the ground like a fucking bird.
What are we doing?
You know what I mean? So let's come together. Let's decide on that here within the next few days. By the time we get to next week's episode, we can settle the debate if or whether or not I'm one of the funniest people you know what I mean? Or if that other guy was right, probably wrong, but if he's right, well, you know what I mean? We'll put it to a vote and we'll see how it goes. And he's still, even if that guy does win, he's probably still wrong. And I'm goddamn hilarious.
What are we doing?
So we've got this problem in the house. Not a problem anymore. I pretty much solved it. Spoiler alert. But as of last week, we had some ants. Okay, everybody gets ants in the kitchen. You leave one little tiny little crumb out, and now you've got a whole brigade of an army of ants being sent in from the outside to, completely take over your kitchen. I woke up the next morning. I accidentally didn't wipe up the counter from dinner the night before, and you know what I mean? There was a whole gang of ants on the counter. I had to wipe them off, get rid of all them, and then they kept coming. So then Sandy was like, yo, here's the remedy. You just need some cinnamon and you need some vinegar. So we put out a little cup of vinegar, and she said you need to line, the window and the door, everything outside with the cinnamon. And so I'm out there like Salem witch trials, we're blocking off bad omens with the cinnamon, sprinkling it all in front of the front door, the windowsill. I'm outside, just like a madman, sprinkling all the cinnamon from the cabinet around the house. Well, that didn't work. The ants were still coming. And so then I'm like, make sure I get Walmart, wherever she went, Home Depot. She gets the liquid ant traps, okay? These little things, they got some borax and some other poisonous shit in them. You tear off the heads, you let them sit out, and the ants go in and they don't come out. And then that's it. And then that's how you get rid of the ants. Here's the problem. The traps started to work. Okay, the ant traps were working. The night that I put them out, it didn't work right away. It took a few hours, but in a few hours when I came back, it was ant central all up in these liquid traps. There were a bunch of dead homies hanging out inside. There were a bunch of scouter homies crawling around on the outside of the thing, trying to figure out what's going on the inside. And so what presumably looked like an ant party in these liquid ant traps that I bought, I was like, great, this is perfect. Eventually they'll all go in and eventually none will come out. I'll throw this whole trap away and that'll be the end of the ants. The issue is that was the night before. Okay, so the next morning I wake up and I don't know, I can't really remember, but there's a solid chance that I had ingested copious amounts of drugs that evening, and 1% chance might have hallucinated these ants, because when I woke up the next morning, the liquid traps were empty.
What are we doing?
There were no ants on the outside. There were no ants on the inside. All of the ants were gone. It was almost as if the dead party of ants, there were 30, 40. You could see the ants inside the trap. It's a clear plastic container, and I saw them in there. I saw them marching in a line from the hole in my kitchen all the way to the ant trap to see what was going on. I saw the whole production of the ants in my kitchen the night before, okay? Now, the next morning, all the traps are cleared out. I asked Megs, did you touch my ant traps? Did you replace them? You saw that they were so full with ants, you replaced the traps? She says, no, I don't touch your shit. Why would I touch disgusting ant traps? And so I said, okay, well then one of two things is either now true. Either A, I hallucinated the ants to begin with, and these little ant looking exactly like ant creatures that have been crawling around my kitchen counter for the last week that I have inevitably gotten rid of with the cinnamon and the ant traps. I hallucinated it all? Doubtful. So then that leads me to point number B, and that is of the fact that either A, and there's subpoints here. So now we're back to, we're still on point B, but it's A under B. So point B, subsection 1, B1 is either A, the ants had a rescue team and they came in and had helper ants break into the traps, pull out the dead ant bodies of their lost homies and take them back to the tribe for a proper burial. Or B, another bug like a spider or something came along, ate all the ants in the middle of the night. Or C, none of the ants were dead to begin with. The traps don't work, and they were just hanging out that night in Club Ant Trap City, having a good time, sipping on the borax syrup, and then boom, they all got tired, drunk, and hungover, went back to the anthill, and that left my empty ant traps.
What are we doing?
Now, I'm leaning towards the theory of that these ants are so civilized and they're smarter than human beings, even though they're only this big, and they have a team of extraction ants that came in, went into the death trap of my liquid ant trap killer, and extracted the dead ant bodies of their homies and took them back to the anthill to send them off in the proper ant way. Now, that's my theory. Megs thinks now I just made the whole thing up, and I'm 99.9% sure I didn't. So if you know anything about ants or ant traps or bugs in general, let me know in the comments down below. Let's ask ChatGPT. Actually, I wasn't going to do this, but now I feel like I need to know. Chat.com. I had an ant problem in my kitchen, okay? And what happened was I put out liquid ant traps. And last night, I saw a whole gang of ants running from the wall to the ant trap. I saw about 30 dead ants already in the trap. The traps were working perfectly. Then this morning, the traps were empty. We didn't do anything with the traps. And so I'm just wondering what happened to all of the ants that I saw that were in the traps that were supposed to kill them. Did they send like an ant extraction team to come get the dead bodies of their ant friends out of the trap? Did another bug come and eat them? I saw them. They were in the trap last night. And when I woke up this morning, all of the ants were gone. What happened?
All right, so here's the likely scenario. The liquid ant traps work by attracting ants with a sweet, lethal bait. The ants carry the bait back to their colony, share it, and it eventually wipes out the whole crew. Those ants you saw in the trap likely weren't dead. They were just loading up on the bait and then heading back home. By morning, they'd taken all the bait and left. So no ant extraction team or mysterious bug cleanup crew, just those industrious little ants doing their thing. Pretty wild, right?
Got it. So they take the bomb back to the anthill, and then within a subset of time, said poisonous bomb goes off, metaphorically speaking, and the whole colony is gone, right? Wow, we wiped out the whole... Okay, got it. All right, well, that sounds like a reasonable explanation. So this entire podcast bit was for no reason.
What are we doing?
Exactly. Sometimes these mysteries have a pretty straightforward answer. But hey, at least now you know your ant traps are doing their job and the colony is on its way out. Plus, it makes for a quirky podcast story. What are we doing? We're conquering the tiny invaders one bait trap at a time.
That's right. And that's my girl. That's chat. Hey, there's your weekly answer. If you have questions, I cannot tell you, I am this close to getting Megs off of Google and fully into ChatGPT. You need to use it when you have questions like this. Silly me. Now should I even keep the whole ant bit in? Now I look like an idiot. I didn't know how they worked. I don't know what's going on. But at the same time, here we are. Thanks to our friends at ChatGPT. You know what I mean? And speaking of ants in this country, Donald Trump's at it again last night, going off on some of the world's like top pop stars, okay? Forget about the fact that he dropped Theo Von off in the Middle East, a third world country somewhere, Qatar, however you say it. I don't know how to pronounce it. Theo Von was there just on Thursday for some reason doing stand-up comedy for the troops. We know how well it went last time one of Joe Rogan's friends did stand-up comedy at a Trump event, but hey, we won't bring it up.
What are we doing?
So now, today, we're going after the pop stars, okay? And first on the list is Bruce Springsteen. Now, obviously, Bruce Springsteen, a lot of fans in the boomer and older generations. Some of the millennials maybe, but the Gen Zs, I'm pretty sure, and younger are out on Bruce Springs. But, you know, it's Bruce Springsteen. He's got a place in history, right? So, of course, naturally, what we can take from this entire story is, you guessed it, Bruce Springsteen doesn't like Donald Trump. And so even though we don't have the exact audio from his show over in Manchester, England, just a few days ago, it's pretty, we can pretty much assume with accuracy that he said something along the lines of, I don't like Donald Trump. You know what I mean?
What are we doing?
So naturally, being the man he is, Donald Trump sees this, and in his infinite wisdom, Donald Trump sometimes, I feel like Donald Trump has this like disassociation from himself, like as president versus celebrity. Like it sometimes in his mind, I think Donald Trump forgets that he's president of the United States, and he goes back to his like, I'm a celebrity, it's The Apprentice, I'm a Kardashian kind of celebrity pop star. And then other times he flips back into presidency. And so in this instance, we're just coming at some of our fellow influencers of the space on social media. And of course, Daddy Trumpets does nothing of short than to write a negatively reviewed post that has everything to do with Joe Biden, hardly anything to do with Bruce Springsteen. But he, you know what I mean? Hey, it's his pivot, you know? He starts with one topic, in the middle it's something completely different, and then he pivots right back. He slingshots right back. What's he call it? He calls it something, and it's not one of those two words that I just used, but he starts, and then we lose him in the middle, and then he comes right back. It's one of his many talents. He does it during his speeches, and he does it on social media. Saying this just 24 hours ago about Bruce Springsteen, the musician, dude. The musician, right? I see that highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the president of the United States. Never liked him, never liked his music or his radical left politics. And importantly, he's not a talented guy.
What are we doing?
I mean, come on, right? He's just a pushy, obnoxious jerk. Jerk in all capital letters, by the way. What are we, 12 years old? Just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who fervently, I don't know if that's probably a word. I'm going to assume it is. But it's also, not only is it too big and confusing of a word for me, it's too big and confusing of a word for Donald Trump.
What are we doing?
Just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who supported crooked Joe Biden, a mentally incompetent fool. This is the pivot now. We're going off the rails of Bruce Springsteen and we're targeting Joe Biden. Stick with me. The worst ever president who came close to destroying our country. If I wasn't elected, it would have been gone by now. Sleepy Joe didn't have a clue as to what he was doing, but Springsteen is, quote, dumb as a rock, end quote.
What are we doing?
And couldn't see what was going on, or could he? Which is even worse. This dried out prune of a rocker ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back into this country. Nah. Keeps his mouth shut until he gets back into this country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll see how it goes for him. So basically, according to the current sitting president of the United States, he hereby orders, I don't know if he signed an executive order or if it's just a verbal command, Mr. Bruce Springsteen is no longer allowed to talk any type of shit on the United States as a country or its commander-in-chief, President Donald Trump.
What are we doing?
And the only way he's allowed to ever again is if he steps foot on American soil. And according to Donald Trump, that's not going to fare well for Mr. Springsteen if, in fact, he does fly back here, talk some shit, and then inevitably we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, according to Donald Trump, Bruce Springsteen's going to get it. Okay. So naturally, the buck doesn't stop there with Donald Trump. Secondly, he had to take it one step further and infiltrate and shoot missiles directly at not another country, but that of a fan base that would be big enough to start their own country, the Swifties.
What are we doing?
Now, this isn't the first time. Donald Trump has gone against the Swifties plenty of times. Donald Trump has definitely shown his hatred towards, as well as vice versa. She has as well. It is blatantly clear and obvious from the outside looking in and vice versa that Donald Trump and Taylor Swift do not like each other. So naturally, about every 6 to 12 months, and it's mainly just Donald Trump, sometimes it's Taylor, but mainly Donald Trump, one of them has to throw a stone at the other one. And in this instance, in this case, it is a one-sentence post from Mr. Donald Trump, a one-sentence post claiming that once again, he is responsible for not only the success, but what seems to be, according to him, the current downfall of Taylor Swift.
What are we doing?
His tweet reads, and I quote, "Has anyone noticed that since I said, quote, I hate Taylor Swift, end quote, she's no longer hot?"
What are we doing?
And so now what we have here in America is the President of the United States directly taking responsibility for the mere fact that us as a society are not currently in an uproar, talking about, posting about, writing articles about, tweeting about, and just shouting about Taylor Swift. Presumably, now this could be the case. You know what I mean? This could be the case. Presumably because she's not on tour right now and she's kind of like hiding out low, like hanging low, not going outside, not being in the press. She's chilling with her BF, Travis Kelce. They were spotted in Mother's Day in Philadelphia. Fine. First time we've seen her in a few months. But she's also dealing with some like Jason Baldoni. They're trying to subpoena her to go to court, but her lawyers are fighting it because she doesn't want to go to court because she doesn't want to be a part of that Blake Lively mess anyways. Like she's taking a break right now. And naturally, the public eye, you know, from the Tower, Lord of the Rings, the public eye isn't on her, okay? Right now, we're focused on Frodo and the Ring, aka Justin Bieber and his financial problems. We'll get to him in a minute. So Taylor Swift isn't very relevant. And so now that Donald Trump has put that math together, something we've known for the last few months, naturally, with the Eras Tour ending and Katy Perry and Beyonce and everyone else coming into play with their lifestyles and world tours and cars flying through the stadium on wire harnesses, we're not going to talk about Taylor Swift. We're going to talk about those people. But Donald Trump, being the narcissistic man that he is, has to make it all about him. And so naturally, on that very, very forgettable, faithful day when he said, I hate Taylor Swift.
What are we doing?
That basically started the decline. The stock's going down. Bitcoin is crashing. As soon as Donald Trump said, I hate Taylor Swift, that's it. She's no longer hot, dude. She's not a hot topic. She's not a hot purse. She's not making hot music. And we don't got anything hot going on with Taylor Swift. And it is thanks to the President of the United States. And if that isn't your tax dollars at hard work, I don't know what is, okay? You know what I mean? If it wasn't for Elon Musk and the Doge department shutting down every other single aspect of the United States federal government, we wouldn't have time for Donald Trump to decide that right now, Taylor Swift, he hates her. And by the way, because of that statement, she's not hot anymore. And that is your president.
What are we doing?
You know, and it's fine. The Swift loves, listen, if Donald Trump would put half the energy, if he took half the energy that he spent writing these tweets about Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift, we'd have Joe Exotic out of jail on a presidential pardon by now.
What are we doing?
We'd have Joe Exotic on a car ride to Mexico, maybe a plane, who knows? We'll get him there either way to rendezvous with his new Mexican husband by now.
What are we doing?
So, Mr. President, I understand that informing the current, public, society, everyone, all of your the people who you talk to on social media, they need to know if and when Taylor Swift is and isn't hot. But if we could just take 1% of that energy to get our friend Tiger King out of jail, well then, by God, wouldn't it be that much better of a day?
What are we doing?
Listen, speaking of pop stars, it's not a good week for our friend Chris Brown, okay? A lot of our friends, our other podcast co-host, Carlos, loves this man. They go see him whenever he's in concert. I'm pretty sure they have tickets for his upcoming show already. Chris Brown, he's supposed to be coming to Hershey. I don't know if he is anymore because of the simple fact that while he was in the UK, you notice how whenever the United States celebrities go over to the UK, they're always in trouble.
What are we doing?
Ellen dodging the Diddy trial, Chris Brown bashing bottles against music producers' heads in a nightclub. It's fine. It's what happens. He was drinking a little too much, okay? Everybody in the club was getting tipsy. And one thing led to another. Chris Breezy smashed the shit out of his friend. Smashed him like the guy with the hatchet. Smashed him. And basically ended up in prison for the night. Of course, naturally, that's what happens when you take a glass bottle and you smash it over another grown man's head at a public event such as a nightclub when you're doing your touring show in UK. Maybe it was a paid appearance. I don't know. I don't know the details. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because what does matter is the simple fact that they're not giving our boy Breezy the bail.
What are we doing?
They've decided to deny Chris Brown's bail, which isn't good, okay? And so according to UK authorities, our boy Chris Brown is going to stay in custody, unfortunately, until June 13th, which, if we do the math, is a little under an entire month away. And so, sucks, right? I mean, you would think if Chris Brown has, 6 figures to buy not a non-engagement ring for a girl, then he would be able to afford an attorney that would most likely be able to get this denial of bail, overturned or just out of there or extradited to another country, like something like the mere fact that Chris Brown is spending the next month in jail, little while.
What are we doing?
So this says here, this says here, this says here that he'll probably then miss several dates on his tour. So those will most likely need to be rescheduled because, you know what I mean? Somewhere, free Breezy out, let's get him back on tour. Will those dates then push the other dates? What do we do it? Free Chris Brown, you know what I mean? That's all we can say. Silly mistake, silly decision, but hey, we've all been there, right? We've all been at the club with our friends, drinking too much, one argument, one conversation, whatever was going on in that situation leads to another, and boom, someone gets their head smashed with a glass bottle. I've never been the victim, okay? I'm usually the one doing the smashing, but you know what I mean? We're smart. We're not Chris Brown status, so people don't know. They're not going to come get me right away. I leave, and then I'm out, and I never get, you know what I mean? It's fine. They don't catch me, but he's Chris Brown. He's like one notch away. He was, maybe not because of his current arrest or his past, I don't know, but some people say he was 1 degree off from becoming the next Michael Jackson. And so probably not the whole like skin color change thing, but as far as like music and sound and sales and popularity, he was maybe kind of sort of on that path. Michael had his issues too, right? Michael was in and out of court as well.
What are we doing?
So let's not forget that small fact. So he still has the opportunity. We'll see how the rest of history goes. But as of for now, for the next 3 to 4 weeks, unfortunately, CB will be pretty much incarcerated over in the UK, which sucks, dude. Sucks, right? So this Airbnb is trying to revive their brand. We all know that Airbnb is basically dead, dude.
What are we doing?
If you're still using Airbnb, all I have to ask is,
what are we doing?
It's expensive. It's overrated. The houses, the properties aren't clean half the time. Half the time it's small and gross. Like they make the pictures look better than what it is. It's 9 times out of 10. You are just better off in 2025, especially 2024, and the last few years. 9 times out of 10, you're better off just staying at a 3 to 4 star hotel for
what are we doing?
For if not less the price, if not the same exact price that your Airbnb was, right? Like there's no ridiculous cleaning fees. You don't got to review them. They're not reviewing you. It's not someone's house. We were just in an Airbnb up in Buffalo, New York a few months ago. And it was literally like someone's actual, they were living there on a daily basis, except while we were their house.
What are we doing?
It's like 50-50. Some Airbnbs are extra rental properties that are only Airbnbs. Fine. But the ones that are actually people's houses on like a daily Tuesday, like, you know what I mean? Like when we were there, you open a drawer, it's little buddy's underwear that he didn't take on his trip. You open a closet door, there's a folder with his birth certificate and social security card. We could have taken this guy's identity.
What are we doing?
Like there's like the fridge is half full. We find his stash. Like there's a whole extra level of weirdness when you get to an Airbnb and you realize that based on you leaving said property is when another person can just come home.
What are we doing?
And so it just kind of has become this antiquated, expensive, extremely outdated business model. It was popping 5-10 years ago when hotels were super uber expensive and Airbnb was just kind of starting out. And then everyone hopped on board. And now we've got things like Vrbo and Airbnb and competing and all this other stuff that has made it so now that the prices and the availability and the niceness and the quality of the properties have now flipped once again to the point where we're just booking hotels now. We're not even on the Airbnb anymore because it's just not worth it at this point in time. You get your bed made every day at a hotel. You don't get that for however long you stay at an Airbnb. It's solely up to you, and they're charging you more for it.
What are we doing?
So with that, the owners, the CEO, everyone at Airbnb knows that their business model is dying, okay? And with the continued stories coming out of homeowners having like cameras in the bathroom and hidden cameras here and they're watching the game, it's weird now because we live in America, okay? And most people in this country are kind of weird. I'll be honest with you. a lot of you motherfuckers are really effing weird.
What are we doing?
And so, you know what I mean? So in order to keep their business alive, Airbnb has now launched 2 new exciting sections, features, things you can do on the Airbnb website to give them more of your money. Okay. If it was bad enough that they were charging you twice as much for the room/stay, building, whatever, private, the townhouse thing that you're staying in, if they're charging you twice as much as a hotel, it's bad enough now that you can go on and book yourself either a service via Airbnb or an experience. And so with Airbnb services, okay, we're talking about things like a private chef, a massage, prepared meals, personal training. So if you're staying in an area, you can go onto their services page, pick the area you're staying in, and you'll get things like authentic urban portraits by JC. If you're in Mexico City, he'll come to your Airbnb, and for $69 a guest, he'll draw a portrait of everyone in your house as an authentic urban person from Mexico City. And for only $69 a purse, you can book that service on Airbnb.com.
What are we doing?
Hey, you going somewhere for an Airbnb, you're booking an Airbnb for like a wedding or an event. You want someone to come do your hair and makeup at the Airbnb. Don't worry about finding them yourself. Go on Airbnb services tab, go down to hair and makeup, and boom, you'll have a professional makeup artist at your Airbnb ready to do your makeup just in time for your event in a split second.
What are we doing?
You want an in-house Airbnb massage? They'll send a masseuse to your house. You need to work out, do some yoga in the Airbnb? They'll send a yoga instructor to your house. All the services you could ever imagine on your trip while booking with Airbnb are now available at your fingertips. And so, you know what I mean? Hey, it doesn't, no one's gonna use it.
What are we doing?
And so then we get to the experiences tab. Now, 99.9% of all these new Airbnb experiences are things like explore Philadelphia's history, real history of Pittsburgh, a film walking tour, marvel at the National Mall at night with a guide. Like, you know, normal, boring things that, again, no one's going to book through Airbnb's website pretty much probably, ever.
What are we doing?
Like if I want to go on a ghost tour in Philadelphia, like I'll probably just find that person or that company, go to their website and use whatever booking platform they have. Like I don't understand this supposed lore of the fact that if I'm already booking on Airbnb, it'll just be better if I get my, National History Museum tickets via Airbnb.com versus just the regular website that's probably one click away. And so these are some of like Bikes and Brews tour for only $89 a guest. You get a bike, you hop on it, you ride the bike to a bunch of different bars throughout the day, and boom, there's your Bike and Brews tour, $89 a purse. It's the perfect Airbnb experience while you're getting away, okay? But to promote this, to make this an even bigger spectacle of an event, because Airbnb knew we couldn't just drop experiences and services and just have it be all the same shit that people were booking on their own anyways, because that's all it is.
What are we doing?
They couldn't let it just be that. So we had to come up with the funding, the marketing, and pretty much just overall the money. I already said funding, but even more money to book Airbnb original experiences. And when I tell you that they have gone all out in the sense of you're essentially booking an in-person experience with a celebrity, oh baby, buckle up. It's Airbnb experiences.
What are we doing?
So now we don't know the cost of any of these experiences. So before you get up in a tizzy and try to spend your life savings on any of these so-called experiences, please, we don't know. They're going to pick people at random. I think it's a lottery system. A lot of them have more information coming soon. So let's take a look at some of these experiences. So what they have done is they've partnered with Airbnb as to what they assume are the top celebrities, artists, musicians, sports athletes. They've got everyone under the sun in the Airbnb's original experiences category. First and foremost, the one that is sticking out the most to people, the one that we've all are probably going to bid on, is the Sabrina Carpenter Airbnb experience.
What are we doing?
The precious princess herself, the blonde bombshell of the 21st century. I'm talking none other than the perfect, ever-living, how does she exist as a human being? Sabrina Carpenter, okay? And we've taken it just one step further into Creepsville by titling the experience, Get a Taste of Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
Now listen, I know, Sabrina, she's got music. It's sexually explicit, okay? Taste, espresso, the Juno poses on tour. We get it. She's a young 20-year-old. We get it, okay? That's how she's moving and grooving in the industry. But Airbnb, calling the experience Get a Taste of Sabrina Carpenter. Hey, man.
What are we doing?
Can you imagine the type of weirdos that are coming out and clicking refresh, clicking notify me over and over again because of the utmost disgusting human beings live not only on this planet, but in this country specifically? And I guarantee you that there is a line wrapped around the block of disgusting men in their 30s to 40s who would love nothing more than to get a one-on-one private in your own Airbnb taste of Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
They have better spent $1 million on security. If you think for a moment that Sabrina Carpenter is going to look remotely like this, sitting in front of a fireplace at the Airbnb of your choice, and you open the door to that log cabin, and she says, hey, come get a taste of me, Sabrina Carpenter will potentially, listen, bad things are going to happen.
What are we doing?
We need security teams in place. We need snipers surrounding the building, because at the end of the day, there is no way this ends well. The person who gets picked to do this one-on-one interactive experience with Sabrina Carpenter is going to need a restraining order from Sabrina Carpenter by the time it's over. Yes or yes?
What are we doing?
Listen to what you get when you get a taste of Sabrina Carpenter. You get to throw on a cute costume. Hey, what you've got on isn't working, Daddy. Let's go to the changing room together and see what we can find you. She'll put on a shimmery, glimmery, fancy, reflective lingerie corset like she does, and you'll hope to fit in a medium-sized t-shirt when we all know you should be wearing an extra large.
What are we doing?
Get a glow up. I have more than a brush that'll make you blush, dude. It's getting weirder and weirder. Then the last thing on the list that you're going to do with Sabrina Carpenter is hit your mark. I'll put you in all kinds of positions.
What are we doing?
This is either a scam, this is either a blatant lie by Airbnb, or they are literally selling Sabrina Carpenter to another. The fact that Airbnb has on their website that you can purchase an experience where you get a taste of Sabrina Carpenter. And before the day is over, you will, quote, hit your mark and have her put you in all kinds of positions. You'll get a glow up. And hey, baby girl, she's got more than just some blush and some makeup and a hairbrush to make you blush, okay? We're talking like other things, all right? And then throw on a cute costume, get changed with Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
Well, let's click the notify me button. We got to download the app, dude. Of course, I don't have time to do that right now. We'll do it later. I'm getting notified, okay? Because first of all, if there's anything that I'd love to do in this lifetime that Megs should 100% allow me to do, that's A, get a taste of Sabrina Carpenter. B, get changed in a dressing room to throw on cute costumes with Sabrina Carpenter. B, get my nails done, my makeup, and my hair done with Sabrina Carpenter. And by the way, she's got more than a brush that'll make me blush, okay? I know she does. And 3, Megs will definitely want me to hit my mark when Sabrina puts me in all sorts of types of positions. So if you're anything, and by the way, hopefully we'll have time to record a podcast with Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
I'm signing up. And I'm hopefully going to get a request to book. Choose the dates, add your guests, and then answer the questions about why you want to go. First, we'll randomly choose a set of potential guests. Next, we'll review the answers for unique perspectives and connections with the celebrity. Then we'll invite selected guests to book. Requirements: you'll need an active Airbnb account and the app to participate, and be a resident of an eligible country or region. It won't cost you anything to submit a request to hang out with none other than precious little angel Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
Who are the other celebrities, you ask? Well, of course, we've got none other than Meg Thee Stallion. Now, this one, I'm sending Megs to. I'm getting notified for this one, and I'm sending Megs, okay? Because for those of you who don't know, we've been sending Megs to dance lessons for these last couple of months, and Megs can now successfully twerk for at least 10 to 15 seconds.
What are we doing?
So if she can spend an evening with Meg Thee Stallion, we're going to get those twerking numbers, skill set, the whole 9 yards. An afternoon with Megs Thee Stallion, my Megs will be twerking like it's no one's business when we're down in Mexico getting married next month. You know what I mean? And so with Meg Thee Stallion, you get, what the fuck? What is this? You get to look cute and an otaku hottie OOTD.
What are we doing?
Channel your prep and plaid. Oh my God. Channel your prep and plaid in school outfits inspired by my anime favorites. They're going to wear schoolgirl outfits, short plaid skirts, and tied up tops like Meg Thee Stallion's favorite anime. Take on the heat in my The Floor is Lava course. Real hotties can you battle me in a video game competition and lock in and get that bag. Everyone leaves with a gift bags, but some are heavier than others, dude.
What are we doing?
So this has nothing to do with twerking at all. You're basically living your anime Japan style fantasy out with none other than Meg Thee Stallion. What creep of a weirdo psychotic intern with a Sabrina Carpenter Meg Thee Stallion anime fetish set this shit up?
What are we doing?
I mean, the guys are like Sunday Fun Day with Patrick Mahomes, Surf with pro Danny Fuller. That's all normal. Why are the female celebrity experiences on Airbnb.com a little out sexual?
What are we doing?
Weird Airbnb. I don't like it. They need to listen, shut it down. Something's bound to happen. If you don't have security around Meg Thee Stallion and Sabrina Carpenter and these other Carol G and Debbie Brown and all the other celebrities they're obviously giving millions of dollars to, listen, we need security, snipers on the roof, cameras in the house, people walking by that are undercover, a security guard at the front gate, a metal detector. I'm telling you, whoever you pick cannot be trusted. We see how these things go, okay? We've seen this before. They pick at random, it gets through some intern, and you've got a psychopath in the same building alone with Meg Thee Stallion and Sabrina Carpenter.
What are we doing?
Airbnb, hey, shut it down, dude. Shut it down because it's getting kind of weird, okay? Not to mention how much money they've spent on the celebrity. Like, there's no way any of these celebrities should have said yes to this without at least $10 million up front. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little weird, okay? Now, obviously, I would hope that they end up choosing that of the female gender for the Meg Thee Stallion and the Sabrina Carpenter experiences. But that's not to say there's some psychotic women out there, yes or yes?
What are we doing?
Listen, I asked this question a few months ago, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. We've kind of seen some things since then. And now that we've got this bombshell mini documentary, Fox channel on Hulu streaming now, kind of expose, what's going on with Justin Bieber?
What are we doing?
Stick with me here because it's a bit of a roller coaster. So according to this all new TMZ expose, Justin Bieber has for quite some time now been going through it financially. So much so that they are reporting that in his entire career's time, okay, in the entire time from Usher and the YouTube video all the way up until like a few years ago, Justin Bieber, from his music and the merch and the deals and the brands and everything that he's done up until this point, has amassed anywhere roughly from 500 million to $1 billion, okay? So with that being said, Justin Bieber has accumulated anywhere from $500 million to upwards of $1 billion+ in his lifetime as a musician. And it is being reported by TMZ, according to multiple inside sources, Justin's team, other people, etc., that essentially he's dead broke.
What are we doing?
So much so that like he has to borrow his like pastor friend's credit card to go play a round of 18 holes with his buddies. In order for Justin Bieber to go golfing these days, he has to borrow the money and use his buddy's credit card. By the way, the church friend, the pastor, whatever, rumors in the Twitter sphere are that it's basically the C word, and they're claiming that Justin Bieber may or may not be in a cult.
What are we doing?
You know, but God forbid, according to Joe Rogan, we call what Jared Leto is doing a cult. Ow, can't say it because Joe gets a little defensive. And when that happens, we start questioning, hey, Joe, are you a member?
What are we doing?
So Justin Bieber can't even afford to play golf. I mean, we can see him here at the beginning of the month just a few weeks ago. While he's on the green, he didn't even pay to get here. And we would assume, right, thinking, celebrity, Justin Bieber, millionaire, billionaire, he should either A, own the golf course, B, be paying for everyone else around him to go, and C, just get in for free, let alone have to borrow your buddy's credit card just to play 18 holes. And that probably costs, what, a few $100?
What are we doing?
So this all comes from Justin making buku bucks of money and probably just at such a young age not knowing what to do with it. It's being said that all of the houses and properties that he owned, he paid cash for. So that's just gone out the window. And so remember back a few years ago, he had one or two world tours. I think it was the Justice Tour, where about halfway through, he was like, look, I can't do this shit anymore. I'm tired. I have health issues. I'm pretty sure my body's shutting down on me. I'm pretty sure it almost did. And like halfway through, he's like, I'm done. I can't do it. We gotta refund the second half of the tour. I'm not doing it anymore. He canceled it. Well, that tour came with an advance. They gave him the whole thing in advance, AKA like $40 to $50 million. And so the issue is when you cancel the tour halfway through, homeboy, you got to give half the money back.
What are we doing?
And in Justin Bieber's case, by the time that happened, by the time he's done paying Scooter and his friends and his expenses and his bills for the year and everything that goes into being the #1 pop star celebrity, at least half, if not more, if not all of it, is essentially gone. And so when they came to him and said, hey, we need 24 million of that 40 million back, he said, oopsie, don't got it. And so naturally, he went to his friend Scooter Braun, and Scooter Braun's company covered that amount. And so Scooter Braun paid the $24 million debt that Bieber owed, and with the agreement that, over time, Bieber would pay back Scooter and all would be forgiven. Then fast forward to about 2023, Justin Bieber thinks, I should be getting more money. So they do an audit. They think that Scooter, the manager, hey, we've had issues with Scooter Braun and Taylor Swift in the past. He's probably doing something fishy with Biebs as well. And so Bieber was like, I want an audit done of everything. I want to know how much money Scooter was taking off the top. I want to know how much money I'm owed because I need it because I'm broke.
What are we doing?
And unfortunately, what happened in that Justin Bieber audit is they found the exact opposite. And actually, as it turns out, Justin Bieber not only owes Scooter Braun back that $24 million that he fronted him for the canceled tour, Justin Bieber also owns Scooter Braun like another $10 or $12 million just for being his manager, deals, things, the percentage, the way the music industry works.
What are we doing?
Which then, of course, leads us to the 2022-2023 music library catalog sale that Justin Bieber put out there for $200 million. So in 2023, 2022 time, he basically is at the point of financial collapse. He has no money. He owes multiple people and multiple companies, production companies, Scooter Braun, everyone, millions and millions of dollars. He hasn't put out new music or gone on tour in so long. Just mental health, being a celebrity, everything that they put Bieber through at such a young age, now at 20 to 30 years old, is finally caught up to him. And now what I think is happening with the stress and excitement and life and new chapter of his wife and Haley and the baby, now comes all of this drama surrounding Diddy, who he was not a victim of, but at the same time was a victim of Hollywood. So that he's dealing with on top of owing multiple people and organizations millions of dollars. He's broke. So naturally, at a fraction of the cost, you know what I mean? WeBuyHouses.com. He sold his entire music catalog, I think, in December of 2022 for about $200 million. And now the issue with that is there were other artists not even remotely close to the caliber of popularity and numbers and worth, the dollar amount of Justin Bieber, selling their catalogs at the time for way more. And B, it was way early in Bieber's career to do just that. But when you're broke and have blown through anywhere from $500 to $900 million in cash, you take what you can get. So a $200 million catalog sale would most likely cover maybe a fraction of the debts and hopefully set you on a straight and narrow for a few years. But that's probably was only a temporary fix for the Bieber family. So naturally, we're spiraling mentally. We don't have any money. And this has been the talk of the town in Camp Bieber for quite some time now. TMZ is also claiming that the Selena Gomez situation is 100% one-sided. Selena and Benny, happy as clams. Don't give a shit. Don't care about them. Won't talk about them. They're happy. They just dropped an album together. They're making money. They're making music. The two happiest people on this goddamn planet right now, Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez. But on the flip side of that, apparently, according to insiders, Selena Gomez is constantly on the back of the mind when it comes to Miss Hailey Bieber.
What are we doing?
And so it is a situation where I'm sure this story will continue. I'm sure we will hear more. And I am sure this is not the last we heard of Justin Bieber. My predictions, like I said a few months ago, is in order to reconcile some of this cost, he's most likely going to have to release an album, which he might do this year, just to subset some of that debt. And B, I would say, listen, bro, we don't need to go back to the world tour. We don't need to do 100 city and era style. He tried. We tried doing the whole world tour, every city, every stop thing, and it just doesn't work, okay? For people like Taylor Swift, it works. For Justin Bieber, it's proven now he can't handle it. All I'm saying is if the debt that you owe Scooter and potentially other people is less than...
What are we doing?
If the debt you owe is less than, I don't know, like 100 million, 250 million, there's no reality that we're living in a reality where I guarantee you, I 100% believe that Justin Bieber's team could go to any hotel and resort in Las Vegas and say, we're giving you Bieber for 10 nights and 10 nights only, a total of 20 shows, 2 shows a night. It's Justin Bieber. It's his Eras tour. It's a temporary, once in a lifetime, 10-night residency at whatever hotel in Las Vegas. The fucking Sphere, dude. Get Justin Bieber a 10-night residency at the Sphere, and I guarantee you that comes with a $10 to $20 million a night price tag, which, boom, is upwards of $100 to $200 million in your pocket.
What are we doing?
You do an hour and a half show, you perform the hits, maybe some new songs, and you've got money in the bank. And it took you about a little less than 2 weeks. Do a 10-night residency, then wait 6 months, do it again, and all of your money issues, baby boy, are what? Say it with me. Solved. All we need is a 10-night residency at the Sphere. It'll sell out instantly. You could make the tickets to Justin Bieber's Sphere residency upwards of $300 to $500 a piece, if not way more than that. And it would sell out instantly to the point where you would have to add on 10 more shows. You would have to double the price of everything. And at the end of the day, I think I am fully confident that with a small, teeny tiny strategy like that, Justin Bieber, call me. You should call me. That's what he should do. Justin Bieber didn't call me. He decided to go on a world tour. It was too much. I would have told him, Justin, it's too much, but he didn't call me. And instead, he canceled it halfway through. And now we're selling catalogs and we're getting TMZ to do these nasty hit pieces on us, claiming that our mental health isn't right. When in reality, all JB needs is like a 10-night run and boom, we're back.
What are we doing?
And who knows, I guarantee you a 10-night run at the Las Vegas Sphere will probably be enough to get Ellen and Portia back from the UK.
What are we doing?
You know Ellen and Portia aren't going to miss the opportunity to see their boy JB live in person again, presumably for like one of the last times. Announce you're retiring after this Sphere, 10 days at the Sphere, announce you're retiring. It sells out, $1,000 a ticket, if not more. I'd go. If Justin Bieber announced tomorrow that he is doing 10 shows and 10 shows only at the Las Vegas Sphere, and tickets start at $1,000 just for nosebleeds and get even more expensive as you go down the row, by God, I'm pulling out every Bitcoin I own and I'm buying the tickets. It'll make history, it'll set records, it'll do numbers, and we may never get to see Justin Bieber perform again. So if you need an idea of how you can pay back Scooter Braun, Justin Bieber, call me.
What are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Levi McCurdy. Thank you so much for rocking with me this week. It's been another incredible episode of the What Are We Doing podcast. We'll be back next week with episode 190, hopefully on Friday. I believe next Friday, I think I'm not only DJing a wedding, but as soon as that wedding's over, I'm going right to Philly to see a Post Malone concert. So who knows? I might be late. I might record one from the hotel. I might record one in the car. I might do one on Monday. It's a Monday. It's Memorial Day. It's a holiday. Who knows? If I don't see you next Friday, happy Memorial Day. I might see you on Monday, most likely. Shout out to you guys for watching. Click the links in the description down below if you want to support this podcast. Tweet at Justin Bieber and tell him to call me. I've got ideas for his next tour. I mean, listen, folks, we're just about halfway through 2025. Chris Brown is arrested. Tory Lanez was stabbed 14 times in prison. Diddy's locked up. The trial started. We've got male escorts full of lube and Tootsie Roll penises on the stand. We've got DDDG going to jail. The Weeknd's new movie with Jenna Ortega sucks, and Justin Bieber has no money. This is the What Are We Doing podcast. Peace out, everybody.
What are we doing?